Stagnation, crypto warriors. I think
Champions.
we have the wrong camera there, dude.
It's all good though.
Let's try to adjust this thing.
It's all good.
Ladies and gentlemen, oh man, it is a beautiful Monday morning.
We are coming to you from a different angle.
Absolutely, man. I had to switch over the angle on the people, my guy. Oh, look at that. Look at that. We're in there. But no, let's not do that. Ladies and gentlemen, Stagnation Crypto Warriors, man. Champions of the world.
Mm.
Rise and shine. Let's
Shine,
get
shine.
to this thing, okay? Let's look at that. We have some comments going to look at that. Boom, different angle. BK Crypto in the house, okay? We see Allah. Look at that, Bitcoin Madam. She says hola,
Hola.
hola, Bitcoin Madam. Incredible. Hope everyone is having a spectacular Monday morning so far. Right? Double up. What are we getting into today, man? You know, I think every day in, day out, we get up and we get on the internet and we just say a bunch of things. But you know, I think it's like progress report. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna get up and say a bunch of things. Do any of them actually happen? Is really the question, right? Is there any truth to it? I think today, you know, it probably makes sense for us to just go back and just see.
Go back in time.
Yeah,
You know.
Exactly. Well, take it away, sir. Tell us more.
I am feeling wonderful this morning. First, I got a whole lot keys from Bitcoin Madam. And now I have someone all the way from Romania, Constantina Citaneo. Oh man,
Constantine.
Ciatino.
Okay, I will not try it. I think it's Ciatano.
Ciatano.
But I'm probably killing that name as well. So
Yeah. Today we are going back in time on our channel and some of the things that we sort of predicted in terms of what's going to happen with Bitcoin and what's going on with geopolitics and war and everything, and how does this impact Bitcoin? How does this impact money?
Yeah.
Etc. So today, that's the intent of the today's show.
For sure.
Is to go back in time and see if things are happening as we predicted, or to see how this is going to impact Bitcoin in the future.
I'll list some of those things that we spoke about here before we jump into it.
All right.
One of those things we spoke about, we did a video on this. We spoke about the widespread of sanctions on Russia at the beginning of the special operation, as they called it, and the potential outcomes. Right, there are some things that we kind of based on our analysis at the time. Mind you, when we did this video, it's just like when Nord Stream pipeline was still fully functional. The war, we'll talk about war in a digital age, right? And the neo-colonist, is it neo-colonist or neo-colonizers now?
Neo-colonization.
Well, the neo-colonist exploitation of Africa, which is still ongoing, right? And we clearly see the outcomes of that now in Niger. We also spoke about Nord Stream pipeline, of course, and the West moving to alternate sources of energy given the dire situations that Europe found themselves in. We just did not know that these people's idea of alternative energy was Africa, or further exploitation of Africa, as we're seeing now. And then, of course, countries settling outside of the US dollar, right, and how that was going to unfold. We spoke about that quite a bit. And of course, the rise of new trade agreements, which will essentially reshape the global economy as we know it. The interesting thing is, as all of these things are happening, it's essentially causing a separation, right?
Away from.
Right, a division from the original configuration as these people had it, which creates this room for Bitcoin. That's really where I see the window of opportunity. So where do we want to begin? Are we doing a reaction video first, or are we just going back to
imagine doing a reaction video of your own video?
Exactly. Well, we're going to review our own video. There we go. All right. So let's see here. I'm going to share screen. I'm going to play this one here from about 9.
It might become a bit more difficult because the US.
Just let me know whenever we're pausing. Sorry. All right. So here we go. I'm going to share screen here.
Imagine.
For a second, I thought that was us again, but it is us. All right, so here we go. Let's play this on see what we had to say back then, and we'll take a look at where we are now. This was, let's see, how long? A year ago. When
You look younger back then too.
I know, man.
It was cold.
Stress has captured my soul, man. I have aged by like 30 years since 1 year ago. Probably more bald now. Look at that. I had hairline, bro. Yeah. Life has not been good. Nah, well, to my hairline at least. The rest of it is chilling.
It's also the highest energy consumer in the world.
Yeah, we want to talk about Ukraine and Russia. It's not impacting us just yet. It's happening there. I
Right.
think in a few months or less, it's going to just linger down globally. I
Absolutely.
think which goes to the global impact, because it's not just Russians that is going to impact right now because they can't pull their money out of the bank,
Right.
which we can talk about what they are doing right now to resolve that. But we are about to feel the pain as well.
Yeah, a lot of people. Yeah, we're definitely going to feel the pain, and of course, on a global scale, if we look at how this flow of gas delivery is happening right now, you can see the countries that are benefiting or are dependent really on this pipeline from Russia, and there's two things Russia can do. Russia can just keep increasing, or keep inflating the price of oil, or they can cut it off to all of these countries, which is going to be a very dark day. What do you think are the possibilities of that?
Well, Russia needs the oil because that's their survival. That's a survival bloodline.
Right.
But they've also started working with China. But China imports oil, so they can get supplies and goods from China, but their oil still needs to go out. So they can either still do, Syria is not big enough for Russian oil. So what will happen though is that if these European countries decide to start saying they don't want Russian oil, how do they survive? It's winter right now. And if they're trying to convert into green energy, how fast can they do it? Which kind of goes into the next diagram that we have here, is that historically we're talking about getting out of oil, right? This is the chart right here, which proves it. If all these European countries which export goods and services, vehicles, technology, finance to the world, now have an issue with Russia, and as you can see, since 2010 to 2020, the dependency on Russian oil is actually increasing instead of decreasing, then we have a big problem in our hands.
Absolutely. I definitely think this would be, one thing that is really interesting here is actually seeing that the
All right, we'll pause there, sir. What are your thoughts so far? We have European nations with extreme sanctions at the time on Russia. We also see that these same people who are sanctioning Russia are heavily dependent on gas from Russia.
Guess who was decreasing at the time?
America was decreasing their use of that gas at the time. And interestingly, I think it's now shown that, some people blew up the Nord Stream.
Somebody.
Yeah, someone blew the
I
Nord
don't know
Stream
who.
pipeline. I think you guys know who that is. And I think that's one of those things where I did not see that one coming, but we discussed about the possibility of the termination of that oil. And then again, the same people who blew up the pipeline now configuring this, I guess, the situation with Niger to be able to extract more natural resources and become a seller to Europe.
Yep. Blow up
Go for
Block Stream too, right? Because hey, everybody's depending on Russia, and then go to Africa, right? And then start building over there, since you can control those guys over there, and connect from Nigeria all the way back to Europe, and then have Europe depend on America instead of depend on Russia.
Absolutely. Insane. Right, but again, that was this was, as we said there, if there was the termination of this pipeline, then Europe would have to move to alternative sources of energy extremely quickly. However, given the situation as it was, right, we can see, because again, this is the same group of people that are pushing carbon neutrality,
ESG.
yes, ESG, and so on and so forth by 20 whatever they said it was, right. But I do not predict that their idea of alternative energies was going to be essentially doubling down on their neo-colonist activities, right? Which again brings us back to this. Now, I think this is where I kind of tied to this war in a digital age
Mhm.
situation. I think, unlike any other time for humanity, we have true free media, which is anyone with a phone at this point in time, anyone who can get on Twitter or X, formerly known as Twitter, can share that information across the globe with lightning speed
Mm.
without CNN or any of these other people getting this opportunity to shape the story the way they want it to be. And now we can see that Africa as a nation is clearly able to hold its own a bit more with more exposure of what is happening.
Mm.
So France has to make a choice. Are you going to continue to be a neo-colonist or really a colonist? Is just what it is because these people never left. A colonizer, right? Or are you going to really come through and show us that you can come up with these alternative energies as you claim by, whenever you guys want to reach carbon neutrality? So I think the outcomes for this will not be the same
Easy.
as usual.
Yeah, yeah. And also a question for Africa. It's a pretty huge continent.
Yeah.
The resources have been pulled out of your country. This is major trade, global trade. And the question is, which currency are you going to use for that exchange? This is that Bitcoin opportunity.
Of course.
This is the relevance that we're trying to show you guys is that there is global trade going on around the world, and Africa plays a big role, although Africa does not have Bitcoin mining like they should have. But there is a solution for Africa, a currency that saves them from the colonizers, as we can see here. You want your independence from Russia, Europe, then you come to Africa and then colonize them again. Africa has a choice this time around. You can use a different currency and take control of your resources.
Absolutely. And of course, there's also the other trade agreements that are starting to grow. We spoke about that in that video as well. There's going to be quite a jump to find that one. But this is one of the things we spoke about in the video. With these sanctions, right? And of course, BRICS was rising at the time.
Yep.
One of the things we spoke about was a new set of agreements, right? Global trade agreements, which will further weaken the dollar. And we saw the BRICS nations definitely kind of have been pushing that. Even though I have to still say, I think China is mathematically incorrect. We're still waiting for that to fall because it does not make sense. The numbers just don't make sense, especially when your numbers are not public. You don't show anyone your numbers. So anything you say is just by a word. So I think China is definitely bluffing, and their economy will be trashed soon.
My response to that one comment was that America did the same thing in the 70s and the 80s.
They did. But different times now, I guess. I think with this emergence of all these new trade agreements, right? Because there's a need for a means of settling these transactions. Now, of course, BRICS nation can come up with their own fiat.
Mm-hmm. They just did, actually, by the way.
What's that?
They have a BRICS gold coin now that is $1 to 55 BRICS coin, they call it.
So they have that, which is still, centrally controlled.
Yep.
But this is where that window of opportunity for Bitcoin comes in, being that global asset that everyone can use to transact. I think even in Africa right now, at this point where there's so much turmoil, I would not imagine that after this, we're going to be going back to a system where they continue to use the fiat currency as it is right now. I know that this seems absolutely monumental, and some people may not believe that this will actually happen. But I think that, say for I don't know about Cameroon just yet, but I think for countries like Niger there that are under the spotlight right now,
Burkina Faso,
Coast, all these countries that use the French franc, I think there's a unique opportunity here to move away from this entrapment that is the French franc, for sure. Any other thoughts on that?
Yes. The unique situation is actually still developing. We don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
But I just want to keep reminding you guys that, as Brazen just said earlier, social media is here. It allows you to get the latest and greatest information without being propaganda or caught in the propaganda that CNN or Fox News want to pitch.
Right.
We already know that somebody blew up the Blockstream in Europe, right? Blockstream pipeline
Not
and Nord Stream.
not Blockstream.
Sorry. I'm thinking of blockchains
Blockstream.
and stuff.
Oh yeah,
Blockstream, yeah.
yeah.
So that situation has occurred. But now we see that the backup was not alternative energy with this old ESG crap. The actual backup is still the same form of energy,
Mm.
but from Africa, where they can pull it out cheaply because Africa has terrible leaders. So they're doing that right now. But if Africa was to arise, like they've been saying, this is the opportunity to switch to a currency that works globally. It's a global, not centralized. You don't have to worry about bad leadership.
Yeah, yeah.
You don't need an African coin. It's also digital. It cannot be banned. They can kick you off the SWIFT system. It's a great opportunity to use a currency that is globally controlled, no centralized control. The issue that I have there, though, is that we need more mining going on in Africa. We have the resources to mine.
Yeah.
We could mine Bitcoin much cheaper with less energy. We have the energy to mine Bitcoin. So as we look at the map, I think we had that in that video. Africa was
Yes.
missing mining. Africa was missing nodes. So if there's a business opportunity that you're looking for right there, energy is cheap in Africa. You can get it easily. Just go for it.
Are
Is
you
put
are you
it back
planning to
online.
go do
We
some
can see
mining
that.
in Africa? So,
I actually have an uncle that has a mine. I've been trying to convince him that we need to start mining Bitcoin, but he's still not listening to me.
oh snap. Okay. Well, so we have this map here that currently shows this pipeline.
Yep, that's the escape route.
Give us a description of what we're looking at here.
So of course, Nigeria is like number 6
Yeah.
oil producer and also one of the biggest producer of natural gas.
Mhm.
So the alternative solution is if you don't go through Niger and Mali and Algeria to Morocco to get to Europe, you could just go through the sea. That has been going on for a while, so they can still get those pipelines to Europe.
Mm.
And if the fastest way though is to just cut through Nigeria, the Nigerian version of the mission is done. It's the Niger version of the mission that is just being disrupted right now. Algeria and of course Mali situation.
Yeah.
So that's the challenge. Actually, another screen
Yeah. Another.
image that shows the alternative solution that they're already working on. But at the end of the day, though, there's a map that shows actual that is it going through the map. Yeah, that's it going through Niger, Algeria, etc. So yeah, so that is how energy is getting to Europe. That is the plan to have this in place by this fall, and this is where Bitcoin plays a big role. Is that there's going to be major transactions going on here. Why would you get it in a currency that you don't control or that is fully controlled by France? This is basically going to make France much cheaper.
Yeah, I think this is I think it's a unique point where African leaders, if they will put on their thinking cap for a second and not eyeball the money so hard, there is definitely an interesting opportunity here where they have the leverage to be able to negotiate and be paid in a currency that they that is not controlled by anyone, if you will. Go ahead.
JP Morgan just released updates on El Salvador's
Oh, yeah.
financials.
Didn't they upgrade them?
Yes.
Credit rating.
El Salvador's credit rating got an upgrade over the weekend, y'all.
I wonder why.
And folks were saying El Salvador's going trash.
The only country that has adopted Bitcoin as legal tender.
Yep.
It's absolutely interesting. You got to wonder how long before the rest of the world wakes up to this, to what is really possible here with Bitcoin. We can only hope that our African leaders wake up to this as well. But as we know, a lot of them are quite cowardly and will not stand up to these people because they're living a life of convenience. And I get it. The country that I come from as well, these people just sit there and grab money and do nothing for the people. These are multi-billion dollar projects, right?
Yep.
Running through Africa, and we see that the people are living in absolute turmoil. Some of the poorest on earth, and there's just no justifiable reason for that. Other than that, if you keep control of the money, then you can manipulate these things to keep the landscape as we see it right now. But when you have fair money and people are able to transact without controlling the other person's value, then I think we'll see a rise overall for the quality of life for humanity. And these are the things that I think over time, at least on my part, all right, and we're going to keep working on this. We constantly talk to people back home about these kinds of things and just try to put together ideas. Obviously, you want to have a solid plan before you take on something extremely monumental. But for the African leaders that are there right now, I think it's unfortunate. These people are our only hope, really. Yet they always continue to fail us, even at opportunities and moments like this when there is just massive windows of opportunity for us to change the landscape of things. There's Bitcoin. People need your resources. Russia is there, which is someone that you can negotiate with for protection as well.
China.
Against people, there's China, So, and of course, China has all this fake money which is invested in Africa, building infrastructure. Maybe we see it differently. Maybe you see it differently. Let us know in the comments, ladies and gentlemen. What are your thoughts on the current state of things?
Yep. I just posted the 2 videos that we did about a year ago talking about this. It's funny how things are playing out right now. But we just want to remind folks there is that BRICS coin that is going to be backed by gold.
Yeah.
The issue with that we still see is the fact that it's centralized. We are open. I think if everything Satoshi is here, it actually has an agenda to have the Bitcoin standard distributed to all the African leaders at the African Union. I would like to invest in that, contribute towards that project, because African leaders need to realize that as long as it's centralized, the challenge still is there. Is the leadership, is the people.
Yeah.
Take away the people from the equation and let the mathematics take care of it, and you will be golden. El Salvador is a good example of that. Things are getting better. And we can do that as well on the African continent. Actually, in all black nations. This is not anything against any other people.
Really, it's any nation.
Yep.
Well, let's take a look at some comments and then we're going to close it out here and let you all get on with your spectacular Monday. We know that you are all kings and queens, so we don't want to hold you on for too long, but not before we read this comment here. Nice blue kufi you're wearing, man. Which one is the kufi? Is it the hat? Okay, there we go. Look at that, spectacular. And of course, good morning, El Debnam El. Blockchain bully in the house as well. We want to thank each and every one of you for kicking it with us on Monday. Even the lawn mowing guy who has now decided to show up right here on the window while we're recording. Good morning to him too. Double O, any final thoughts before we close this one out?
Champions, man. I think we have a Bitcoin catalyst about to kick in. It's just only a matter of time.
It is a matter of time. It is a matter of time. Patience, they say. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate you all tuning into the show. Please be sure to check out those links, by the way. We did those videos a while back, and I think we're quite happy that we were able to, not accurately, but at least we were in the right thought pattern when we looked at the existing situation at the time and gave our analysis on it.
Yep.
It's good to know that it seems at least we're on the pulse of some of these things, and some of the ideas that we shared are actually, we're not the only ones thinking about it. Yep. Some people in bigger places are also thinking about this as well, which is always hopeful. So please, we'd like to keep sharing this with you. So subscribe to our channel, like the video, share with your friends, right? Oh, I don't think it's that one, but we can do this one for sure. Right? Share with your friends. We're also on X, formerly known as Twitter, as StackFin, and of course, we're also on Spotify. Until next time, stay blessed. Drink water.
Drink water.
Yeah, drink
Literally.
water for sure.
Drink water and buy Bitcoin.
Yeah, eat vegetables, right? Absolutely amazing. Until next time, brazen out.
Can you give me a different angle? Let me finish double O style.
Oh, you want? Okay, well, I got you, bro. Let's whip the angle. Look, I mean, we have cameras now, bro. We might as well use all of them. Okay, we're not gonna hold back. I know. Wait, which one is that? Is it this?
Oh yeah, here we go.
There you go.
Double O out.
Double O. Peace.